England getting ahead to it. Peters onto the bar. Peters again.
Goal highlights from Huddersfield against Blackpool.
Hit the post.
And Birmingham against Queen's Park Rangers. So you'll see there'll be no shortage of action, as ever, on the big match this week. And each week, incidentally, we shall also be taking, of course, a good look at some of your letters. But now let's get straight on with our first match, and a very fine match it is, a fine attacking spectacle served up for us at White Hart Lane yesterday. Spurs against West Ham, a rousing derby match to get the season underway. And of course, for the sentimental ones, this return by Jimmy Greaves. There was a crowd of 53,000 there for it. And in the Spurs lineup, naturally, Martin Peters playing against his old club. But no Philip Beale, he's injured, and his place at number 6 has gone today to Dennis Bond. As for West Ham, Peter Eustace is not quite match fit, so they have Peter Bennett, a forward-turned-midfield player, at number 4. It really is a match sparkling with top personalities.
And whichever club you support, you just have to admire this man, Bobby Moore, when you think of the strain he's been under, both in South America, Colombia, and more recently with that kidnap threat. And yet his football has never wavered. And so we go into the new season with Spurs defending that goal to our left, of course in white, and Mike England straight back to Pat Jennings. Two sides who didn't really distinguish themselves too much last season. West Ham finishing 17th and Spurs 11th. And now young Peter Grodier getting his first touch, made his first appearance here 2 years ago. Clyde Best right up the middle, and Mallory, who had such a superb World Cup, coming away for Spurs. Jimmy Pearce, chased by Bonds, and Greaves now, with a good deal of support for Greaves here too. Now, rather expecting to see him in a more defensive role, but charging up that wing. And the throw, in fact, given to West Ham. Clyde Best coming towards it, and Peters and Knowles between them, getting away. Bobby Moore. Evans with the throw to Knowles. Gilzean winning it in the air, but Gilzean wins the majority of balls in the air with that delicate touch of his. Perryman and England. Moore's header a little misplaced. Dennis Bond to Gilzean. And now to Ray Evans, the young fullback who made his mark last season. Peters going in. But in fact, a free kick must have been given there against Martin Peters. Going in a little too vigorously. A good kick there from Grodier, finding Clyde Best. Mallory to Knowles, and now to Peters. Mallory's job, I imagine, for most of the time will be to watch Greaves. I think it might have been Beale's job, but now with Beale out, it might be Mallory's. And now Spurs coming away again through Evans. Gilzean calling for it in the middle, and Gilzean getting ahead to it. Straight into the arms of Grodier. A planned move, and Gilzean was on the spot. Stevenson to Best. Greaves to flick it on to look for Hurst. And England, who's missed nothing so far, but a pass that very nearly put Evans in trouble. Recovered well, Ray Evans. And now Perryman. Hurst, Greaves, flicking it inside Knowles, a flick there towards Best. Oh, good work by Jennings. Oh, a fine save by Jennings from Best, but a beautiful West Ham move. Mallory. Oh, Chivers with a good burst of speed. Stevenson coming across, and beautiful timing with that tackle. Alan Stevenson timed that to perfection, because Chivers really, here he is, was really moving. Gilzine to flick it on, and Pierce to put it over. Again, that Chivers long throw, which somehow steals up on you, and Gilzine with another delicate flick of his, and nearly the first goal of this game. Just over a quarter of an hour gone, no score. Bond with the corner. Peters looking to get under it. Chivers. Charged down there by Bennett. Pierce. And now England right on there. And Lampard can get it away. England in there primarily to use his head, almost getting through with a shot. And another throw. And another chance for Chivers to put a long one in. England getting ahead to it. Peters onto the bar. Peters again, and Cloutier. Well, how unlucky can Spurs get? And a free kick given against Bond on Hurst. And the referee here, Bob Matthewson, one of the rare breed of referees who was a professional footballer. He was a pro with Bolton in the early 1950s and a linesman in the last cup final. Bond to Evans. And that ball was out as well. Says the linesman. The referee agrees, and the crowd beg to differ. Bobby Moore for West Ham. Best gone back to the centre again, and still Knowles with him. Stevenson and Hurst. Greaves going in fast on it, but Jennings for Tottenham. Steve Perryman. What a season of great opportunity it could be for Perryman. Here he comes again, working well nicely with Bond, and a good pass there to Gilzine and Evans, and Pierce looking to get underneath it. Bond with a shot. And the least said about that soon is mended. Dennis Bond, who's been very busy in midfield, certainly for Spurs, and no doubt he'll be glad to forget that shot as well. Gilzine. And Tottenham's throw. Yes, they're going to wait for Chivers. And England's going up as well. Right in there and wanting it on his head. That won't get to his head. In fact, Stevenson almost going to his knees to get it away. Hurst, rather. And now it's Brooking, with Greaves unmarked outside him, and Mullery closing the gap beautifully. Did very well there, Mullery. That really looked a menacing break for West Ham. It's West Ham's throw. Moore to Stevenson. And this time Brooking making the break, and Perryman going with it. Can Brooking get there first? It's got Greaves waiting in the middle, and Best. And England as sure as ever for Spurs once more. Lampard really going in very hard indeed on the back of Gilzine. And the referee having a word. There's Perryman. The referee having a quick word with Lampard. Billy Bonds. Oh, straight to Perryman. Pierce. Peters going outside him, but acting as a decoy, and down goes Cloutier to save what was a very difficult shot from Pierce, just bouncing in front of him. Lampard. Gilzine. I think there's a little bit of the feud coming out there. A little bit of revenge by Gilzine on Lampard. Knowles. The path back to Jennings is blocked. But Perryman there makes himself available and now finds Evans. Mullery. Moore getting in front of Chivers. Brooking. Stevenson. And now young Steve Perryman again. Pearce. Perryman going in again as though his life depends on it. Finds Pearce. Peters outside him and straight into Grotier's arms again. From Peters. And Chivers over the bar. What could have been some really fatal slackness in that West Ham defence. Very nearly presenting Chivers with a golden opportunity. England. And now Pearce. Oh, and Gilzean quite free. There it goes by Gilzean. And no mistake about it.
What a wonderful goal to start the season at White Hart Lane, made by Jimmy Pearce here on this terrific run. He holds the ball and slides it at just the right moment for Alan Gilzean's run, who moves to the left of the box and hammers it like a bullet into the far corner of the net.
A goal just when the game wanted one, and a brilliant goal at that. A free kick now given to West Ham. Now Bobby Moore, best to flick it on, and Peters. Bobby Moore to pump it back again. Hurst looking to get underneath it, and does so. Greaves! Oh, Greaves! He's done it! Jimmy Greaves! The goal he wanted! The goal Jimmy Greaves wanted!
Well, neither Greaves nor Hurst has made his mark on this game up to now, but they certainly made it with this goal. Look at that lovely leap of Jeff Hurst, the way he just nudges the ball off, and Greaves accelerates onto it and surprisingly crashes into the net with his right foot.
And the sort of goal that Greaves has as his own speciality. He flicks in where nothing seems on, and suddenly it's nestling in the back of the net. 1-1. And so much now to get this big crowd going. Mullery to England. And now to Evans. Pearce. Chivers looking for it with his head. Pearce trying to get in again. The feet and the heads are flying. And it's an indirect free kick to Tottenham. Stevenson and Bond's not happy, but referee Matthewson adamant. Now a little moment of crisis for West Ham. That's how it is from behind that goal of Grotier's. Almost a central position. Quite a long West Ham wall because it's such a central position. I don't know how much Grotier can see, but he'll need to see. Peters and Bond between them. Indirect, says the referee, with his arm aloft. Peters going in with a little chip. Beautifully manufactured. Oh, and Knowles missed it. What a miss by Cyril Knowles. And what a beautiful little chip by Peters. Delicately over that wall. And West Ham were caught napping by Knowles. Ham. A game that really has burst fully into life now. Peters getting in first. To Pearce. And now big Mike England. To the equally tall Ray Evans. England to look for Chivers. Moore is with him. Gilzine to Bond. And Chivers turning it across. Gilzine having it blocked. And Bonds to get it away. Bennett. And a handball, says the linesman on the far side, against Peter Bennett. The man who started as a centre forward last season and really is, according to West Ham, beginning to blossom as a number 4. So now we have this situation that we had just a couple of 3 minutes ago when Peters chipped it over the wall. I'm sure he won't try that again, or if he does, West Ham should certainly be alert to it. Perryman in the wall, Chivers in that West Ham wall as well. There's the chip to the far side. Evans this time going in fast. But this time Evans was watched by Stevenson here. But certainly Spurs are working those free kicks on the edge of that penalty area very well indeed. And a tremendous amount of thought and a tremendous amount of practice out at Cheshunt, their practice ground, goes into those sort of moves. So Grotier then with a goal kick. Jimmy Pearce to Mullery, looking for Chivers. Oh, straight back to Jimmy Greaves. And now for Brookie. Hurst is up with him. And Perryman getting in well. England to Jennings. Steve Perryman. What a prospect. So brave as well, getting in, finding Bond, and now Evans. Turning it back well first time, and Stevenson forced to give away the corner. Appealing against it, but there can really be no doubt Alan Stevenson, the number 5, but he did very well to get in there quickly as he did. Mike England has gone to the near post for Spurs. That big figure you can see at that near post is Mike England. There he is with Bobby Moore. Dennis Bond with the corner. Aimed towards England, flicked on well. Gilzine! And it worked! Gilzine!
Well, Dennis Bond shows here how accurately he can chip a ball and lays it right on Mike England's head. But you see Bobby Moore not quite close enough to Mike England, and the flick on gives Gilzine the kind of chance that with his heading ability he's hardly likely to miss.
So 3 goals in 6 minutes. That sees Spurs 2-1 ahead. Peters. Three goals in 6 minutes, and each of them such beautiful goals as well. Mike England and Chivers. Oh, what a good pass there, but he's offside. Gilzine was offside. Not a very good pass there by Brookie, but Lampard made something of it. And now it's Bobby Moore. Powell. And Evans in very quickly with a firm and a fair tackle. And the throw given to Tottenham. Evans, a fullback who's maturing very quickly. And Mallory, the skipper, well pleased to see his side 2-1 up. Here's Evans. And there's the whistle for half-time. And a very good first half it's been as well. Jimmy Greaves having scored the goal that all sentimentalists would want him to have scored back at White Hart Lane. But Alan Gilzean, in the meantime, having scored 2 for Tottenham. And so we get a half-time score of Spurs 2, West Ham United 1. More soccer for you in just a couple of minutes from now. So Spurs then, having lost to West Ham in this corresponding match last season, now on their way to getting some revenge for that. 2-1 up as we go now into the second half. Cyril Knowles. And certainly it means that Bobby Moore has got to whip his men up even more in this second half. 2-1 down. And really there haven't been too many chances for West Ham. There's another long throw by Chivers. Fancy that might catch one or two sides out this season. There's Peters trying to go in, and Moore getting there first, pulling Peters down. But play on, says the referee. There's Moore and Peters there. Having a little tug at Bobby Moore's foot. Mallory going down and taking the ball with him. And a trip given against Bobby Howe, and the free kick very quickly taken by Spurs. Bond. Oh, a nice little pass there by Bond to Gilzean. He's got Chivers in the middle, and Moore is in the middle as well. Clyde Best. Oh, look, good ball there. Straight to Hurst. Oh, Hurst just overtaking it on the run. With the first genuine flash that we've seen of Jeff Hurst. And a warning to Mike England there. England really has watched him well. But it was a good pass there by Best. Pearce, Stevenson, and Best again. Now Peter Bennett to Bobby Howe, with Lampard going up outside him. Gilzean has come back as well. Greaves looking for Hurst again. Now the ball falling for Jimmy Pearce. Bond, who really has had a lively and a very attractive game for Spurs. Taking that pass from Chivers, finding Gilzean. Chivers waiting at the far side of that penalty area. Chivers going in, and Stevenson, good work, being applauded in fact by his goalkeeper, Grotier, because Grotier knew what that work by Stevenson meant, with Chivers lurking just the far side of him. Chivers at the near post, Pearce with the corner. Billy Bonds away. Steve Perryman to Knowles. Perryman, Chivers. England, Bond, Gilzean. And now Evans. Peters looking for it. Bonds is there. It's not away yet. Stevenson getting it away, though, as far as Hurst. Now to Brooking. Trip by Perryman, but an accidental trip. And a free kick to West Ham. Bobby Moore switching it to Lampard. And West Ham's ball. Best finding Lampard again. Lampard looking for more. First time in to Best again, but he couldn't control it. Perhaps he should have controlled it. And a free kick given. Evans. Gilzine. And Bond. Bobby Moore. To Lampard. Perryman. Dennis Bond to Chivers. Gilzine. Spurs moving with a lot of assurance when they do come forward. Here's Perryman again. Perryman going past Moore, and Cloutier stopping it with his knees. That was a very good piece of play by Perryman, gliding past Bobby Moore of all people. Now Bond. Oh, and Mullery making a good break. Mullery with a shot, which just needed a gentle prod home. And if either Peters or Chivers had been just a yard on, Mullery's pass would have been prodded home. Moore, Hurst. Hurst needing to come deeper and deeper to get a few yards for himself away from Mike England. Greaves finding the same sort of problem facing Alan Mullery. Moore now to Lampard. And Evans in first, but the throw to West Ham with 14 minutes of the second half gone, still 2-1 to Spurs. Clyde Best. Howe tricking his man very neatly, and a nice little cross there, and in goes Bennett! 2-2 by Peter Bennett.
Well, Clyde Best, who's had a wonderful game up to now, played a big part in this goal. Look at that feint, good dummy, and a perfect layoff to Bobby Howe on the wing. Bobby Howe with the number 11 on his back suddenly decides to play like a natural outside left, and look how accurate that cross is. Peter Bennett is stealing into the box. There is the right-hand corner of the picture, jumps perfectly, and a copybook header gives the goalkeeper no chance whatsoever.
Peter Bennett, who's made only 38 appearances in the first team over 7 years for West Ham, most of them as a forward, finds himself in the middle of the field and then goes forward to do a real rescue act for West Ham. A free kick there given against Bennett now for the foul on Peters. From the other angle, this is Peters making his little chip again. Oh, and a superb overhead kick by Lampard, because it very nearly came off again, this time with Chivers breaking through. But here's Gilzine, and still pressure on West Ham, and Grotier gathering it well. Bonds to Greaves. Brooking. Bonds. Plenty of men up now for West Ham, and Best tries an overhead kick, at least over his shoulder, but also over the crossbar. Bobby Moore. Well able to take the pressure they have been taking, West Ham. Perhaps a little lucky to be level, 2-2. Bond. Chivers. But again losing control, and Billy Bonds getting in for West Ham. Brooking. Bonds. Certainly there's a spring in West Ham's stride now, but not a very good cross though by Billy Bonds, straight into Jennings' arms. Pearce finding Gilsey. Scorer of 2 fine goals here for Spurs this afternoon, and now Perryman finding Peters. Gilsey going in on it. They're a little too high for him. Howe. Best to Hurst. 1 against 1 was Hurst faces Mike England. Played back for Best to blast one. Oh, great work there by Jennings. And what a fine shot by this fellow, number 7, Clyde Best. And so it's a corner. West Ham really springing forward now. Best with the corner. Oh, and Bonds, after Jennings had slipped, getting Spurs out of trouble. Evans. Oh, showing far too much of that to Bobby Howe, but with Howe slipping, he also had time to recover. What a tremendous save by Jennings. Mallory taking that pass from England. Mallory again. As we go into the last minute of the game, Martin Peters. Evans again making an advance down the right for Tottenham, and Grotier getting underneath this one. His catching has been good and sure, Grotier's this afternoon. Under a lot of pressure, but losing that one to Gilsey, but Gilsey no doubt knocking it out of his hands unfairly. And the free kick given to West Ham. I remember 2 years ago we televised a West Ham Spurs match in pouring rain at Upton Park that finished 2-2, which was a real classic. Well, it's 2-2 again today, and there's been a lot to commend this game as well. Gilsey. Bonds taking that return pass from Perryman, and now looking for Evans again as the final whistle goes. A draw it is. Jimmy Greaves having scored that 1 goal for West Ham in the first half, and Gilsey having got 2 in the first half for Spurs, and Peter Bennett, the number 4 for West Ham, having scored that equaliser in the second half. A fine game then. Jimmy Greaves is happy. A lot of the fans are happy, having had 90 minutes of really exhilarating football to start off this new season. The final score then at White Hart Lane: Spurs 2, West Ham 2.
So a very good match indeed, a good point for West Ham, and now it's my pleasure to welcome to our studio our guest today, Jimmy Greaves, and with him Jimmy Hill.
Well, Jim, for 8 years you were a Spurs player and started the season with them. Yesterday you came back as one of the enemy. What went through your mind as you ran out?
It's difficult really, Jim. I think I'd sort of thought about going back there for quite a long time, because obviously it being the opening game, and the fixtures have been out quite some time. So I've had plenty of time to think about it. It was a bit emotional. The crowd gave me a wonderful reception, which helped a great deal.
You didn't have much of the ball early on in the game, did you?
Didn't have much of the ball in the whole game, actually, but...
I'm being too polite.
No, things didn't go very well. Alan marked me very close, and as you know, Alan can do a very good job at this. He proved this in the World Cup. So things didn't really go, from a match point of view, very well. But
what about the Spurs side? Do you think they're potentially stronger this season than they were at the start of last season?
The way they started off, the first 45 minutes yesterday, I mean, I thought we were in for a hiding. We could have easily been 4 down at half-time without any trouble. They died a little bit in the second half. I think when we scored the second goal, when we equalised, the bottom dropped out of their game a little bit, and we finished, if anything, stronger of the two, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. Why do you think they flagged a little bit?
I don't know. Probably start of the season, they really went well in the first half, and they might possibly have overdone it and not paced themselves for the whole 90 minutes.
Would you see them doing better this season than last season? That's Spurs, your old team.
Yeah, I think so. I don't see why not. I mean, if you look at Tottenham, potentially, look at their players, there's no reason why they shouldn't be a great side.
Now, what about West Ham?
Well, there's no reason why we shouldn't be a great side either. If you look at our team, everybody can play it about a bit. We've got tremendous potential there.
Well, any players who've impressed you particularly, who are making progress at West Ham and are better players than you thought before you went there?
This is difficult, really. I think that the team is as I expected. One's always admired and respected West Ham for the way they've always played football, and when I went there I expected them to be a good footballing side, and they are. We push it about, and it's a nice side to play with.
What about Clyde Best, the coloured boy who seemed to play so well to me yesterday?
He had a good game yesterday, yeah. Well, he's only young. He's a big lad. He can come on. He could be a very good player.
And playing with Jeff Hurst, I mean, is that as good as I would always imagine it to be, and I think you would?
Yeah, Jeff and I have played together before in the England team, but I think with West Ham, once we've played a few more games, we probably be able to develop a better understanding even than we've got now, although at the moment things are going pretty well.
In fact, he did nod down the chance for you yesterday.
Yes.
Very good header for that particular goal.
Excellent header.
You
yeah.
read his mind well.
Well, he got up very well. He obviously couldn't get ahead towards goal himself.
There comes the high ball up the middle.
That was Bobby clearing it up the high. As you can see, Jeff really couldn't get to it to have a go at goal himself, and he knocked it down, and that was it, you know.
There's that right foot shot. How many goals do you reckon you score with your right foot as against your very natural left?
This is very difficult to say, really, Jim. I would say sort of maybe 7 out of 10 with my left foot, probably a couple with my right, and the very odd occasion with my head.
Although you ended the season last year with 2 with your head.
Yeah, that's true, but, you know, one of those things.
I wondered whether I detected yesterday just a fraction of, not nervousness in Jimmy Greaves, it's a funny thing to say in front of goal, but a fraction of just slight tension and freezing when 1 or 2 chances came to you. Would you say your approach has altered in some way?
I think yesterday's game was the fact that last season things didn't go very well, and we've played 4 matches this season before the game yesterday. Admittedly, they were friendlies. They were against weaker opposition, but I don't think I had a shot at goal in the whole of the 4 games, and therefore my confidence, to a degree, was waning a bit. So you're probably right.
People always imagine you as the ice cool man in front of goal. I mean, I do, as the most nervous finisher of all time. Personally, I admire the fact that you never get worried.
I wouldn't say that, Jim. I can remember the days of old.
It's so nice to see players that play here. When I was playing, there are a few of them left now, Jim. But
That's
carry
true,
on.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, goal scoring is like playing like any position, a goalkeeper. If things are going well for you, it's easy. If they're going against you, you have to fight hard not to lose your confidence, not to be over tense. The greatest asset, really, to a footballer is to be able to relax under pressure, but you can't always do it.
Will 1 goal in the first match of the season set you off as a relaxed player with West Ham, do you reckon? You feel better?
One sunny day doesn't make a summer, Jim, but it's always nice to get off on the right foot.
Well, there you are, Jim, and I hope that you continue to score goals for the pleasure of not only West Ham fans, but for all London fans. Thank you very much for coming in. Good luck for the season.
Thank you.
Well, there you are. Jimmy Greaves off to a good start of the season. I think so too were West Ham and Tottenham. They showed a lot of promise yesterday. The football in the first half, as good as anything you'd see anywhere in the world. Tired a bit towards the end, but I think we can forgive them that on such a hot day. But the man who really impressed me was the man, Bob Matthewson, the man in black in the middle, who used to play for Bolton Wanderers. I thought he had an excellent game, and not a disadvantage to him that he used to be a player. He was able to take charge of the game early on, the period where managers say, make contact. And what they mean by that is never quite defined, but just see this tackle here. That's making contact early on, but the referee doesn't like it. Can you see him jumping there, making it clear to the players that that's not the kind of tackling he wants? There's another one, through the man to the ball, a sliding tackle, and once again the referee's after Mike England, going for him and saying, look, I don't want that during this game. Now, all these took place in the first 15 minutes of the game, and because of that, there was no trouble afterwards. Now watch as Grotier catches it. Alan Gilzine just gives him a nudge there with the shoulder. I think he could have stopped in time not to do that, and so did the referee. He walked across to him after this and had a word with him and said, I don't want any more of that. And he was so much in control that as Jeff Hurst, number 9 here, turns and lays this ball up, you can see another foul there by Mike England, but the referee is in control enough to play the advantage rule because West Ham are on top. I thought it was a first-class performance, and it was a pleasure to say so.
Jimmy Hill on referees, and contrary to what they may think, we do like to give credit where credit is due on referees on the big match. And I can honestly say I think that we shall go on commenting honestly on refereeing, good or not so good, as the season progresses. We think that's vital to the well-being of football. Right, now let's have some more action from the First Division. And this time the two teams promoted to the First Division at the end of last season. Huddersfield Town and Blackpool. The pictures come from Yorkshire Television. Commentator is Keith Macklin. Huddersfield in stripes.
Pull that ball down. Pickering was in an offside position. This is Smith. Chapman. Good shot. Hutchison. Cherry. Hutchison hurt, but play goes on. Nicholson. McGill. Behind Hutt, forcing him to go back, losing a bit of momentum. Into the middle, meant for Worthington. Flicked on, but no power behind it. Alan Suddick for Blackpool. Biswicki. Oh, what a loose ball! Smith has a great chance. It's there. There's the first goal of Huddersfield Town. What a mistake in the Blackpool defence. A bad mistake in the Blackpool defence. Alan Suddick looking very unhappy. Stephen Smith, the scorer, seizing onto that ball. "39 minutes gone and Huddersfield Town have taken the lead." Jimmy Armfield to take the kick.
So a sitter to start with. Now let's look at the second half.
Glyn James also up there. That's James. And it was a good one. Terry Full flicking that over, taking no chances with it. Glyn James went up for that cross from Armfield and got to it. Here's the corner. Up goes James again. There's a long one for Smith. Smith was onside. Stephen Smith. With him Mowbray. Brought down in the box. Is that a penalty? Yes. Mr. Tinkler's awarded it. Mowbray calmed Smith down inside the area. The linesman has had a word with Mr. Tinkler. I think he agrees with Mr. Tinkler that that was a foul inside the area. Mowbray took Smith's legs from underneath him, so it's a penalty to Huddersfield Town. And Frank Worthington stepping forward to take it. If he lands this, Huddersfield go into a well-deserved 2-goal lead. Mr. Tinkler getting everybody lined up. Worthington with the kick. The goal. Well, Worthington didn't hit that particularly hard, but it went under the diving top. A long ball for Smith to chase. This Terrier Smith, he gets it and lobs it. A goal! What a magnificent goal by Smith. Superbly judged goal. He ran between two defenders, and as goalkeeper Thompson came out, lobbed it beyond him into the net. A beautifully taken goal by Smith.
Television direction there by Jeff Hall. That's how it finished. Huddersfield 3, Blackpool 0. A very good start back in the First Division, of course, for Huddersfield. I fancy we might see a fair bit, too, of this Stephen Smith of Huddersfield in the First Division over the months to come. A bad start and problems, obviously, though, for Blackpool. Right, now let's have a look at some of your letters. We've been getting them, of course, right through the summer. And the first one comes from Richard Crawley and some of his young friends from Bermondsey in London. They're obviously Gordon Banks fans. What they want to see is the save by Gordon Banks against Pelé in the World Cup against Brazil.
England forwards have tested this goalkeeper, Felix. There goes Cardino, he's onside. That's a good cross ball, it's Pelé! And a fantastic save by Banks! What a fantastic save by Gordon Banks!
Fabulous Banks. And now watch how Pelé beats just a good goalkeeper with an almost identical header.
Number 7, there he is, Paquetti, following the number 7, Herdino, wherever he goes. Rivellino, watch Pelé now. What a beautiful goal from Pelé. El Rey Pelé. 100.
The goalkeeper there, of course, was Albertosi of Italy, and that was the first goal in the World Cup final won by Brazil. The next letter comes from Mr. F.J. Mahoney of Southgate in London. He was very critical of a tactical foul committed by Dave Mackay of Derby County in the Watney Cup semi-final against Sheffield United. What was that, some 10 days or so ago, right at the start of the season. The United player, you may remember, we'll see it in a moment, was right through, and Dave Mackay can do nothing else to stop the goal but pull him down.
Reese free now for Sheffield United.
There's the United player going right through, and clear obstruction there by Dave Mackay. Mr. Mahoney saying that any advantage, of course, that Sheffield United had was nullified by the time that it took them to take that free kick, and something ought to be done. Well, of course, the League and the FA are very, very concerned with this and are keen to stamp it out as quickly as they can. And I think, you know, I would hope that they would stamp out not only this sort of foul, but also when players deliberately handle a ball to stop a movement developing. But also, I think, in fairness to players, we ought to say that the authorities and the referees this season particularly must show great consistency when they deal with this sort of foul. That's what I think in any case. Now let's have a bit more action. We come to our third match today, and for that we go into the second division and look at Queen's Park Rangers, promotion challengers for so long last season. They were at Birmingham with a new manager, Freddie Goodwin, up from Brighton. The pictures come from ATV. Commentator Hugh Johns. There's Birmingham City, and a man that Crystal Palace fans would remember, Roger Hind.
Free kick. And that ball almost loose for Latchford. Hockey for Vincent. Pendray. Bowden, a touch now. Summerall, the scorer. Johnny Vincent for Birmingham. Pressure still on. Trevor Hockey picking up Bowden. Good first time ball. Vincent, Bowden going well for the return. And a corner. Corner off Tony Hazel, number 6, and Bowden, Vincent working very well together. Number 7, Albert Murray, chap who scored a hat-trick against Queen's Park Rangers just a year ago. That was August. Oh, little curler, and a missed kick. Bowden, Jeff Bowden, number 8. That's the second goal of the game for Birmingham, and that Rangers defence in a terrible mess. Beach taking free kick.
So a lot for Rangers now to do in the second half.
Saul simply going well for the return. Hind tidying up. Summerall for Latchford. Summerall's ball. Summerall going strongly as Hazel comes across to tidy up. Now Gillard. Frank Saul. Turned well. Hockey losing this to Saul, but winning it back again. Oh, and delivering his pass a little too quickly. Frank Saul for Rangers. Well read by Bowden. Francis dithered and Bowden pounced. It's a free ball for Ron Hunt of Rangers. Oh, and this is Bridges now. Bridges, the scorer, makes it 2-1, and one's got to say it, that was a mistake then by Roger Hind. Barry Bridges, the old Birmingham player, scores on his old ground.
The television direction there for ATV by Dickie Lehman. Rangers beaten 2-1, of course, without Rodney Marsh. And now, as just a little bonus, we can bring you a little bit of Football League history. The first goal in the Football League for Cambridge United, who came into the league in the 4th Division and played against Lincoln City yesterday. Anglia Pictures, Jerry Harrison, the commentator.
Neat bit of play there by Cambridge United, and they get from it a corner. 6 players in the penalty area from Cambridge United. John McKinven. Lindsay. Melton.
Well, I'm glad we could get that one in. And now that is just about all from the big match today. We've been packed with action and personalities. Our thanks, of course, to Jimmy Greaves. And we shall be back with another big match for you next Sunday with all the trimmings that we like to bring you each week. I want to leave you, though, with Pat Jennings today. And Irish fans particularly will remember how he was dropped from the Irish side for the home internationals last summer. He was in really brilliant form against West Ham at Tottenham yesterday. This is his best work.
Hurst. Greaves. Flicking it inside Knowles. A flick there towards Best. Oh, good work by Jennings. And Knowles pressured and almost giving away a goal there. Played back for Best to blast one. Oh, great work there by Jennings.